What's going on YouTube? I'm Arcade Hawk, and for the majority of my streaming career, I've been a shiny hunter. I've gotten tons of amazing shiny Pokemon on my streams. But recently, I decided I wanted to do a challenge run in Pokémon Shield. Since I'm still a small streamer at the moment, I wanted to do something a bit more challenging than a plain old Nuzlocke, so I could stand out in the category. I'm a huge fan of Small Ant, and he inspired me to attempt this challenge. I decided to try to beat Pokémon Shield without my Pokemon taking any damage. Before I start, I want to cover some terminology that people a little more unfamiliar with Pokemon battles may not know. If you are familiar with these terms, feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp and go right to the challenge. First, I want to go over Pokemon stats. Every Pokemon has a base stat for HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Because I'm not going to be getting hit for this challenge, I'm going to focus on Pokemon with high speed and either attack or special attack. Speed is important so I can move before my opponents, and the attacks are important so I'm strong enough to KO opponents in one hit, and that way they don't get the chance to attack me. Along with base stats come individual values, or IVs. Every stat a Pokemon has will have a value from 0 to 31, with 31 being perfect. The higher IVs a Pokemon has, the better its stats are. On top of that are something called natures. Every Pokemon has a random nature that boosts one stat and lowers another by 10%. These are important because if I have a speed, attack, or special attack boosting nature, that means it's 10% stronger in that stat. Next, I want to talk about effort values, or EVs. EVs are a sort of behind-the-scenes stat boost that raise Pokemon's stats even more by defeating other Pokemon in battle. This means that by training against the right wild Pokemon, I can focus my Pokemon's stats into speed, attack, and special attack in order to save time on leveling up. Finally, there are 3 concepts that you need to know. The first is move priority. Typically, the order in which Pokemon attack is based on speed stats. However, some moves have increased priority, meaning that a slower Pokemon can attack first with one of these moves. Quick Attack is one you will see a lot. Aqua Jet and Sucker Punch are examples as well. In order to outspeed Pokemon with these moves, I have to use priority moves on my own Pokemon and still be strong enough to KO in one hit. This concept makes things very challenging at times. The next concept is abilities. Every Pokemon has an ability that affects the battle in some way. Some Pokemon have extremely useful abilities, some have extremely bad abilities, and some, in the case of a few of my opponents this run, have extremely annoying abilities. You'll see what I mean soon. The last thing I need to cover is held items. Pokemon can hold one item that has an effect in battle. For example, a Charcoal can be held by a Pokemon to boost damage of their Fire-type moves by 20%. There are a lot of held items that are very useful in this run, which is why it's important to know what they are. Alright, now that you're all experts in Pokemon, let's get into the challenge. Here are my rules. Following in Small Ant's footsteps, I'm allowed to save after I earn each gym badge, but because of the extensive story in Pokemon Sword and Shield, we also decided to add save points after making it through the wild area for the first time, and before the battle with the legendary Pokemon Eternatus. I am not allowed to take any damage at all on my Pokemon, including recoil damage, damage from status or weather, damage from abilities, and obviously damage from opposing Pokemon's attacks. I am not allowed to use any online features. This includes doing max raid battles online with other people, as well as trading, even if it's just for a trade evolution. I can, however, complete max raid battles with NPCs, as long as I don't take damage with my Pokemon. If I take any damage during battle, I close the game and start where my last save left off. After nearly 10 minutes of opening cutscenes and dialogue, I chose my starter. After doing research, it was clear that Scorbunny was the starter that I needed. Its final evolution, Cinderace, has phenomenal speed and attack, plus Scorbunny is going to be very useful early on. Then I had my first battle with my rival, Hop. This first battle answers the question, can you beat Pokemon Shield without taking damage? To which the answer is, not really. Hop has 2 Pokemon, the first of which is a level 3 Wooloo. This Wooloo is coded in the game to always use Tackle, every single time. there's no way to KO it in one hit. I even got a critical hit once, and it still wasn't even close to enough damage. So, for the purposes of this run, damage from Wooloo in this battle only is acceptable, because it's unavoidable. My chat and I did, however, think of a way to avoid damage from Hop's Grookey, which always uses Scratch. Like all 7 fire starters before it, Scorbunny has the ability Blaze, which boosts its fire moves when it falls below 1/3 of its HP. So, because I'm allowed to be hit by the Wooloo, I let it tackle me until my ability was active, and then I just needed a critical hit with Ember on Hop's Grookey to win the battle. Lucky for me, on my second attempt with this strat, I got a crit and it was done. The next thing I wanted to do was catch a Nickit to help with BD battles in the future, so I found one and threw a Pokeball at it. And it broke out, but it used a non-damaging move. So I threw another Pokeball at it, and this time it did stay in the ball. By the way, at level 5, Nickit has 3 moves, and 2 of them do damage. That was a 2 in 3 chance I restart there, but thankfully I got lucky. Now began the EXP grinding against the bug types on Route 1. After over an hour of this, my Scorbunny reached level 12, and learned the fighting type move Double Kick, which I could use to KO the normal types around me as well. Eventually, I got my Scorbunny to evolve into Raboot, and then reached level 20, meaning I was ready to battle the very first trainers. The first 2 were no problem, but youngster Benjamin was. He had a level 7 Nickit that knew Quick Attack. After damage calcs, I figured my Raboot would KO the Nickit using its own Quick Attack at level 20, which it did. Now that I gotten through that, I had my next battle with Hop. But because I was so over-leveled, it was a breeze. Then I caught a Magikarp before heading to Wedgehurst. Before getting on the train though, I changed out of the basic outfit because that's important. Then I carefully made my way through the wild area and got to Motostoke, where I was able to save my progress. Since risk was low, I went to catch a Bounsweet, but it broke free. Luckily, it used a status move, so I threw another ball at it, and this time, I got hit by Rapid Spin. So I reset and tried again, and this time I caught it first ball. Next, I went through Motostoke, and Leon gave me a Charcoal, which I knew would come in handy later. At the hotel, I was forced to battle some Team Yell grunts. The Zigzagoon was easy. Then I needed to Quick Attack the Nickit, that also knew Quick Attack. Here's where things got iffy though. I had to do a multi-battle with Hop against both of the previous Pokemon. I couldn't guarantee no damage by Quick Attacking the Nickit, because the Zigzagoon knows Snarl, which hits both targets. I just had to hope that the Nickit attacked Hop. Once again, I got lucky and it did just that, meaning I was able to win this first try. Hop wanted to battle on the bridge to Route 3, but that was not an issue. On Route 3, I wasn't fully paying attention and I accidentally ran into this Lass. Yet again, I got lucky and her Vulpix didn't use Quick Attack. Then I did some more grinding and evolved my Magikarp into Gyarados before beating up the school kids on Route 3. I had to go through Galar Mines next, where there was only one required trainer. My first battle with Beedee was at the end of the mines, but because I got that Nickit early on, I had evolved it by now, and it was an easy sweep. I finally got to Turffield for the Grass Gym Challenge. There was only one required trainer, who Raboot destroyed. Gym Leader Milo had only a Gossifleur and an Eldegoss, which he Dynamaxes. Because Dynamax lasts 3 turns, I decided to do it turn 1 and Max Flare the Gossifleur. It was overkill, but it set up the Sun. And because Sun boosts fire moves, I was able to KO Milo's Dynamax Eldegoss and take the gym badge. My first gym badge, 12 real life hours in. After that, I needed to do some training, so I KO'd Wild Meowth and Pumpkaboo on Route 4. But I didn't know Pumpkaboo had Shadow Sneak. So after resetting, I decided to get the Pikachu kid out of the way. And I forgot Pikachu had Quick Attack. So I ditched Route 4 for Route 3, where I decided to catch a Growlithe to start training. After some training, I went to the wild area to check out the max raid dens. I found a Minccino, which I was able to OHKO. But the important part is the EXP candy. Giving EXP candy to your Pokemon will increase its EXP depending on the size of the candy. So I went looking for some more raids. I beat this Muna, and then found a Bounce Sweep. This was actually very useful, because the one that I caught earlier would have Leaf Guard as its ability as Serena, whereas this one would have Serena's signature ability, Queenly Majesty. This ability blocks all priority attacks from my opponents, which, as you could imagine for this run, will come in very handy. I fed my Reboot EXP candy and evolved it into Cinderace. Now that I'd done that, I was ready for the first battle on Route 5, which was a double battle against the News Crew. They had a Helioptile and a Clink. The Helioptile knew Quick Attack, so I had to Quick Attack it with my Cinderace, and then Waterfall from Gyarados was enough to take out the Clink. On Route 5, there's a 5% chance to encounter Nincada in the grass. I was able to find one after a few minutes and catch it first ball. Nincada evolves into Ninjask, but if you have an open slot in your party when it evolves, you will also get a Shedinja. Shedinja is an extremely unique Pokemon because of its signature ability, Wonder Guard. With this ability, it can only take damage from super effective attacks. As a bug and ghost type Pokemon, that means it can only be hit by fire, flying, rock, ghost, and dark type attacks. I can take advantage of this if I know opposing Pokemon don't have any moves with those typings. After training against Zigzagoon in the wild area, I was able to evolve my Serena and make my way to the water gym. In my way though were some Team Yell Grunts. All their Pokemon had priority moves, but with Serena, it wasn't an issue. Hop also wanted to battle, but he was a non-issue as well. My chat pointed out that I should grab the Expert Belt from Turffield, so I did that, and then headed back to Hulberry for the gym. Serena and I just wrecked all the trainers in the gym challenge, and then we headed to face Nessa. Serena easily beat her Goldeen, her Arrokuda with Aqua Jet, and her Dynamax Dreadnought. The second badge was mine, as well as another save point. Next, I went to catch a Cutie Fly for battling Team Yell, and an Arrokuda for the next gym. After some training, I headed to Galar Mines 2, where Beatty was waiting for another battle. Again, Thievul made it easy for me. I stomped an unavoidable trainer, and then encountered more Team Yell Grunts. My Cutiefly had evolved by this time, and I taught it Dazzling Gleam, which hits both opponents. Even still, I had to take a chance and hope their Thievul didn't quick attack me. It didn't, so the Expert Belt boosted Dazzling Gleams KO'd all 4 of their Pokemon. After that, I did some more raids for EXP candy, and then taught my Serena Power Whip, a 120 base power grass move with 85% accuracy. I needed Power Whip because I had to battle Marnie at the hotel. She has 3 Pokemon, and 2 of them have priority moves. I had to either level up my Cinderace to about level 56 to KO with Quick Attack, or just rely on Power Whip hitting twice. I did manage to hit her Krogunk, and then Ribombee took out Scraggy. Finally, Serena was able to hit Power Whip again on Morpeko. No resets required. While doing more raids, I defeated and caught a Sheldor, and on top of knowing Ice Shard, a priority move, it happened to have the ability Skill Link. With this ability, it can always hit multi-strike moves the maximum amount. Sheldor's evolution, Cloyster, has access to Icicle Spear, and with Skill Link, it will always hit 5 times, effectively making it a 125 base power move that never misses. I knew this could be super strong later in the game. After more training and candy feeding, I got my Arrokuda evolved and leveled up to 43, and I taught it Waterfall. So now I was ready to take on the Fire Gym. For this gym challenge, I just needed to KO 5 Pokemon in the grass, and then I battled Kabu. His first Pokemon is a Ninetales, which for some reason knows Quick Attack. So at level 43, with Expert Belt, Barraskewda was able to OHKO with Aqua Jet. Next was Arcanine, and because it lowered my attack with Intimidate, I had to max and set up Rain with Max Geyser. With Rain up, I was able to KO his Gigantamax Centiskorch, taking the 3rd gym badge and my 4th save. As per usual after a save, I went to catch some Pokemon. I got a Ghastly first ball, and then I tried catching an Excadrill. It did not stay in first ball, and attacked, with a 2-turn move. So I used a Pokédoll and got the heck out of there. I decided to test my luck on another one though, and this time it did stay in. Now here is where annoying opponents' abilities start coming into play. These Team Yell Grunts are blocking the way to Route 6. and one of them has a Stunky, which has the ability Aftermath. This means if I KO it with a move that makes contact, my Pokemon takes damage. On top of that, their Stunky also knows Feint, a normal type move with +2 priority. I went around the wild area to check what TRs the Watt Traders had, and I found Dazzling Gleam, which does not make contact. I taught it to my Ghastly, which was now a Haunter, and as a Ghost type, Haunter couldn't be hit by Feint, and while holding the Wise Glasses, it was able to OHKO the Stunky. Then it was an easy Dazzling Gleam spam for the other Pokemon. I realized I needed some more Pokemon soon, so I caught a Zigzagoon and a brilliant Tyrogue that conveniently knew the priority move Mach Punch. I got them both evolved and then did some EV training for attack against Wild Tyrogue. I was also fortunate to find a Sludge Bomb TR from a Watt Trader, and because of that, I was able to continue. In my way was a Beauty with a Clefairy and a Clefable. Sludge Bomb from Haunter was able to one-shot them both. Now that I could get past her, I was able to catch one last Pokemon for the next gym, a Helioptile. I was able to catch it first try, and I evolved it with the Sunstone. After some more EV and EXP training, I had my next tricky battle. Artist Duncan is unavoidable on the way to Stow-on-Side for the Ghost Gym. His coughing is easy, but his second Pokemon is a Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo has the ability Sturdy, which means it will live a move that would one-hit KO it. On top of that, it also knows Sucker Punch! So I needed to KO it in 2 hits and avoid a priority move. My solution for this was Hitmonlee. On turn 1, I used Fake Out, which is a priority move that causes the opponent to flinch. Then on turn 2, I took it out with an Expert Belt boosted Mach Punch. Hop wanted to battle again at Stow-on-Side with a revamped team, but it was still no problem for me. Now for the Ghost Gym, which is exclusive to Shield version. The first trainer has 2 Pumpkaboo, so I had to use Lining to avoid Shadow Sneaks. The rest of the trainers were taken out by Haunter's Shadow Ball. Then it was time for Alistar. His Yamask and Cursula were easy, but his third Pokemon is Mimikyu, which was the trickiest Pokemon so far in the entire run. With Mimikyu's signature ability, Disguise, rather than taking full damage from the first attack it takes, its Disguise is busted, and it loses 1/8 of its HP, so it can't be KO'd in 1 hit. Additionally, Alistar's Mimikyu knows Shadow Sneak. Taking its other moves into account, I came up with a plan to guarantee no damage, as long as the game's AI wasn't a forehead. As a normal type, Heliolisk can't be hit by Shadow Sneak, and as a Ghost type, Haunter can't be hit by Slash. So, turn 1 against the Mimikyu, I broke its Disguise with Volt Switch, and switched into Haunter. Doing this ensures I can't be hit by Shadow Sneak or Slash. Next turn, I manually switch back to Heliolisk in case it tries to Shadow Sneak. Then I repeated the process because I didn't think I would take it out with Thunderbolt, and finally, when I was sure it was in range, I used Thunderbolt to take it out. I was relieved, but there was still his Gmax Gengar to deal with. However, with Max Phantasm from Haunter, I took it out, and I defeated Alistar and earned the gym badge, as well as the most satisfying save yet. Now that I'd beaten the 4th gym, I started to see 3-star raids. 1-star and 2-star raids can be one-shot, but 3, 4, and 5-star raids put up barriers after they lose a certain amount of HP, meaning they can't be beaten with 1 hit. This means they're generally unsafe to battle for this run. However, here's where Shedinja comes in clutch. If the Pokemon in the max raid den has no super effective moves against Shedinja, it won't be able to damage me. For example, this Dottler only knows Bug and Psychic moves, so I was able to beat it safely with Shedinja and get some much better EXP candy. After finding an Ironhead TR and teaching it to Excadrill, I started EV training against Wild Dreadnought for attack stats. I knew the next gym was pretty risk-free if I was careful, so I felt comfortable about doing lots of training. After doing it for a while, I decided to check the EV progress on my Growlithe. So I went to check and noticed something strange. Yeah, I contracted Pokerus while training. If you don't know what that is, Pokerus is a Pokemon virus that increases the speed at which your Pokemon gain EVs. It's super useful for EV training, so even though it's a virus, it's actually a really good thing to get. Here's the catch though. It's extremely rare. To put it into perspective, the odds for me to randomly find a shiny Pokemon during this run is 1 in 4,096. Very unlikely. However, the odds for me to contract Pokerus is 1 in 21,845. More than 5 times rarer than a shiny Pokemon, and way more helpful. As if I wasn't already getting lucky enough during this run, then I managed to do that. So yeah, I finished up maxing attack stats pretty quick, and then started training against Gloom for special attack, and then against Dugtrio for speed, occasionally clowning them with Serena. I found the evolution items needed for Arcanine and for Cloyster, and then started making my way through Glimwood Tangle. I knew which Pokemon had priority moves, and made it through no problem. I picked up the Acrobatics TM, and then headed for the Fairy Gym. The gym challenge was a sweep with Sludge Bomb. Then I had to beat Opal. For her, I used Iron Head on her Weezing, Flamethrower on her Mawile, Sludge Bomb on her Togekiss, and Max Steel Spike on her G-Max Alchemy. Easiest gym so far. I picked up the Focus Sash in case I needed to do some Shedinja shenanigans, and then had another hot battle. As usual, no issues here. There was an unavoidable trainer on Route 7, but Heliolisk was not afraid of his flying types. On Route 8, I battled this Doctor. I used a non-contact move to avoid getting poisoned by her Roselia, and then her Hattrem was an easy Shadow Ball. Next, there was a Musician with Togedemaru, which has the ability Iron Barbs. If I use a move that makes contact, I take damage. So, I used Earthquake to avoid that. Then I picked up the TM for Brick Break before heading to Steam Drift Way to catch a Sneasel. Apparently, my luck had run out. So I had to do everything since the last save over again, and when I went to try to catch it again, this time it did stay in the ball. After that, I did some EV training and leveling up against Berserker, and then went to do more raids. After I was leveled enough, I took on the Ice Gym. In the challenge, Snom easily went down to a Flamethrower, and Cloyster went down to a Magical Leaf. I was prepared for the next trainer, but I forgot to swap my lead Pokemon. I did have High Jump Kick on Serena, so I could KO the Beartic, but High Jump Kick is a 90 accuracy move with guaranteed recoil damage if I miss. So there was a 10% chance I reset here, no matter what. Lucky for me, it hit. I remember to switch my Pokemon for the next battle, and was able to OHKO the Ice Table. Then I made it to Melanie. I Flamethrowered her first 3 Pokemon, including the Ice Cube because of its Ice Face ability. And then I decided to troll her G-Max Lapras with Shedinja, because I knew it couldn't hit me, before winning the gym badge and saving the game. Right after the gym, I had another hot battle. Usually I just humiliate the poor guy, but he wanted to have this battle while it was hailing. This made things a bit sticky. Ice-type Pokemon are immune to hail damage, so I had to use Cloyster and Sneasel. Brick Break took out Double. 3 hits with Icicle Spear, which was guaranteed to hit 5 times, took out Rillaboom. Dig took out Pincurchin even after it used Curse. Brick Break with the Expert Belt was enough to take out the Snorlax. And then because Hail wouldn't damage me on the last turn, I used Flamethrower with Arcanine to take out the Corviknight. I headed directly for the next gym, but first I had to beat up some more Team Yell Grunts in that Hail. Brick Break from Sneasel took out Linoon, and while avoiding a priority move, Wide Lens High Jump Kick from Serena KO'd Pangoro. Then I got the Water Bike and followed a route that skips all the trainers on Route 9. Before I could do the gym, I had to fight Marnie. Lightbird and Toxicroak had priority moves, so I used Serena for both. Deagling with Haunter took out Scrafty, and then High Jump Kick with Serena took out Morpeko. The Dark Gym challenge was just a bunch of Team Yell Grunts, who were all easy, but I had to be sure to Mach Punch a Weavile that knew Ice Shard. Then I went for Protect plus Earthquake to win a double battle. Piers was up next, and he was not a certain victory. I had 4 times super effective moves for his first 3 Pokemon, so those weren't a concern, but his Skuntank was a huge problem. Like the Stunky earlier, it also has Aftermath as its ability. Plus, it has Sucker Punch. Looking at its full moveset, my best solution was to use Serena to avoid Sucker Punch, give it a Lumberry so it wouldn't get poisoned from Toxic, and just hope that Skuntank wouldn't go for Snarl. Then, I needed to hit a 90 accuracy High Jump Kick, not KO it, and then use Dazzling Gleam the next turn to avoid Aftermath damage. On my first attempt, that's exactly what happened. It went for Sucker Punch, and it lived High Jump Kick with literally 1 HP. Then I was able to D-Gleam, take it out, to snag the gym badge, and save the game. I picked up some items from around the region that would help me, and then did some raids with Shedinja. After some leveling, I started the 8th and final gym. the Dragon Gym. The entire gym was double battles, so I had to prepare for that. The challenge is 3 trainers, and I can switch my Pokemon around for each one. So with the right moves, I was able to easily beat all 3 of them, including the last one in Hail. Finally, I had the Ryan battle. His Gigalith set up Sandstorm, so I needed to use Excadrill and Safety Goggles Cloyster. Flygon outsped me, so I needed to KO it with Ice Shard, and then Ironhead the Gigalith. Then I Max Quaked his G-Max Duraludon, and Icicle Speared his Sandaconda, taking the final gym badge and saving the game. Route 10 was filled with trainers, plus it was hailing. The first dude just had a Gardevoir, so Excadrill took care of that. I avoided 2 guys, and then beat one I couldn't avoid with Volt Switch and Ice Shard. I needed to evolve my Sneasel before proceeding, so I needed to wait and do it off stream. Well, I tried to. But, as you can see, I have an extra reset. I went to level up the Sneasel by KOing a Cubchoo, but I forgot about Snowcloak. I missed an Ironhead and got hit. I could have just acted like nothing happened, but I wouldn't have been able to live with it, so I just redid everything. I got my Sneasel evolved into Weavile and taught it Icicle Spear. Then there were 3 battles before I made it to Winden. The Hiker was easily beaten by Excadrill. For the Gentleman, I had to Brick Break with Weavile, Protect with Safety Goggles Haunter to avoid a first impression, and then back-to-back Dazzling Gleam sealed the deal. Then the News Crew was a double battle. They had no priority moves, so Weavile and Safety Goggles Arcanine took care of them. Next, I had my final battles against Marnie and Hop. Marnie was up first. She opened with Liepard, so I used Serena and High Jump Kicked it. Next was Toxicroak, which with Acrobatics was able to take... Whoops. An hour later, after some training, Acrobatics was able to take it out. Then the rest of her team was a cinch, including her G-Max Grimmsnarl. Hop was ready for me after Marnie. Close Combat took out Dubwool. Flamethrower took out Corviknight. Close Combat with Choice Band took out Snorlax. Earthquake took out Pincurchin. And even though I used the wrong Max Flare, it was still enough to take out his Dynamax Rillaboom. After that, I had to chase around this annoying Macrocosmos dude. But literally all I had to do was use Flamethrower with Arcanine a bunch, including on his Ferroseed with Iron Barbs. To get up the tower, I had to beat 1 Durant, and then do 3 multi-battles with Hop. I put the Choice Band on Excadrill, and taught him Brutal Swing before getting on the elevator. The first battle, I had to Brutal Swing since I couldn't Earthquake the Bronzong because of Levitate. Then Earthquake won the other 2 battles. I swapped around my Pokemon and held items before battling Oleana. I went for Flamethrower on Frostlass, Chop Kick on Milotic, Earthquake on Salazzle, which would have KO'd it 7 times, Flamethrower on Serena, and then when she G-Maxed her Garbodor, I took it out with a Max Quake. Then I had what was essentially Gen 8's Elite Four. BD returned as the Fairy Gym leader and wanted a rematch. I went for Flamethrower on Mawile, Ironhead on Gardevoir, and then my brain turned off and decided to stay into Ironhead the Galarian Rapidash. But I forgot something pretty important. I just had to hope that it didn't use Quick Attack, and very fortunately for me, it did not. Finally, Max Steel Spike was enough to take down his G-Max Hatterene. I had a foolproof plan for beating Nessa again. Looking at her team, she starts with Golisopod and ends with G-Max Dreadnought, and the other 3 are centered around Rain and Swift Swim. My plan was to Protect to avoid first impression, then Max Rockfall to KO it. And then when she sent out Pelipper to set up Rain for her Swift Swim Pokemon, I would Max Rockfall again and change the weather. I did not want her to be able to outspeed me. And then Volt Switches on Barraskewda and Seaking, and Choice Band Earthquake on Dreadnought would have been enough to win the battle. Things started as planned, and I maxed early and took out the Golisopod. But to my surprise, she actually did not send out Pelipper next. This threw off my entire plan. I ended my Dynamax early and went into Heliolisk. I had to Volt Switch back into Excadrill to avoid sand damage. She sent out Seaking next, I guess just to troll me, so I repeated the process. Then she finally sent out Pelipper, which I could safely Thunderbolt. When she G-Maxed her Dreadnought, I remembered I was calcing based on Sand Force boost, and there was a 19% chance this wouldn't KO. But it did. Somehow I safely got through that one. Alistar was next up, but this battle was much easier. He didn't have Mimikyu this time. So it was just a Choice Specs Shadow Ball from Haunter all the way through until a Choice Band Earthquake from Excadrill. Raihan was last, but this time it was a singles battle like usual. Expert Belt boosted Earthquake, took out his Torkoal and Turtonator. Choice Band Ice Punch took out his Flygon and Goodra, and Max Quake took out his G-Max Duraludon. It was time to battle Champion Leon, but of course, there's more story to go. Chairman Rose turned out to be a maniac, so I had to battle with him at the power plant. I flamethrowered all his Pokemon, including Ironbarb's Ferrothorn, and then Max Quaked his G-Max Copperajah with my Excadrill. Now that I was about to battle Eternatus, I had hit a checkpoint and I saved my game. Before that though, I taught Dig to Excadrill and Shedinja, and gave Shedinja the Focus Sash. I did not intend on needing it, but I put it there in case of worst case scenario. The regular Eternatus battle was an easy Choice Band Earthquake, but Eternamax form was where I was expecting things to get sticky. Zacian and Zamazenta joined Hop and me, and it turned into a max raid battle. I had to find a way through this without my Pokemon taking damage. I went for Dig, but Zacian was faster and gave me a boost from Howl first. Next turn, the dogs did a lot of damage with their signature moves, and then I did even more damage with Dig. Eternatus didn't target me, so I went for another Dig, after the dogs both attacked again. Eternatus did target me this time, but I avoided it because of Dig. Then, while I was underground, Zacian finished it off, and I was through it on my first attempt. Before battling Leon, I needed a bit more leveling on my Pokemon, so after I did that, I gave my Pokemon held items they needed, and went to face the champion. This was it. He sent out Aegislash first, which went down to Earthquake. Haxorus was next, which I took out with Choice Band Ice Punch. Dragapult came out next, which with Choice Scarf on Haunter, I was able to outspeed and KO with Shadow Ball. Mr. Rime was next, and it was an easy Iron Head. Inteleon was scary, because if it had a speed boosting nature, I would be slower. But I moved first with Heliolisk and KO'd it. All that was left was his G-Max Charizard, so I went for Max Rockfall, taking it out, and finishing the challenge. Aside from that one stupid Wooloo, I had beaten Pokémon Shield without taking any damage, in just under 53 hours. This was an extremely difficult run, especially for my first challenge run, but I had a blast completing it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and if you're feeling generous, share it around. If you'd like to see me live, I stream regularly on my Twitch channel, so the link is in the description if you want to give me a follow. I would super appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.